We know that you have reached out to those who continually disappoint your expectations. We refer to those who try to take advantage of you, acting with manipulation, spreading negativity and leaving you exhausted, or those who do not respect your personal boundaries. Refusing in these cases is not rudeness, but rather the establishment of boundaries to protect your emotional integrity. Stoic principles emphasize the importance of protecting our limited resources of time and energy. It is crucial to recognize that despite the best intentions, if a person is not willing to change, efforts will be fruitless. It is important to learn to recognize 9 types of individuals with toxic and harmful attitudes, and denying them help can be an act of protecting your own emotional integrity. Those who live in fictitious realities. Some of us take refuge in worlds of fiction, embracing alternative realities to mask insecurities and fears. These fantasies, which serve as both shelter and prison, reshape reality to fit their hopes. Self-awareness is replaced by denial, pushing away uncomfortable truths. When reality unveils itself, the behavior may stem from trauma or a desire for approval that warps reality. Helping these people is difficult due to mental barriers. Transformation occurs by recognizing logical fallacies, often with professional help. This is reflected in political debate, where incongruent beliefs are ignored. Let's move on to the opportunists. A genuine friend steps forward in times of real need, demonstrating mutual respect and affection. In contrast, exploiters reveal themselves with a constant series of requests and favors, often for insignificant matters. They disrespect the value of your time, and you find yourself having to fulfill their requests despite your initial refusal. They know how to make you feel guilty for a potential refusal, and despite repeated attempts to discuss the issue, show no intention of changing, convinced that there will always be someone ready to help them. It is advisable to consider distancing yourself from these people, because your well-being and responsibilities must be the priority. The sophists emphasize the importance of empathy, but this can be exploited by individuals with selfish intentions. To distinguish a true friend from a false one, observe their actions and the nature of their requests. Empathy should not make us blind to others' intentions. It is necessary to balance generosity and prudence, ensuring that our compassion is not abused. Ego-centrics believe that the world revolves around them. This human trait can be exhausting. We inevitably cross paths with people for whom reality revolves around their ego. They minimize your experiences if they do not directly involve them, and overshadow your good news with their problems. This behavior is similar to emotional vampirism, draining your energy to satisfy their needs. Instead of a dialogue, there is a monologue, where only their opinions matter. If surrounded by negativity, it can hinder our personal growth. Sometimes, we need to protect ourselves and distance ourselves from those who no longer enrich our emotional integrity. Protecting oneself is a necessary strategy for our psychological survival. Let's move on to those who do not recognize their own faults. These people rarely accept responsibility for their actions, showing a lack of self-criticism and humility, qualities considered crucial for Stoic personal growth. For them, the blame is always elsewhere, never on themselves. They can attribute a negative outcome to bad luck rather than seeking internal flaws. They live in a world where reflection on their own actions seems distant and inaccessible, where they are never responsible for their misfortune. This perspective directly challenges Stoic teachings that underline the importance of self-criticism and humility as fundamentals for personal progress. Those who avoid responsibility for their actions show resistance to introspection, refusing to acknowledge that error, when recognized and contemplated, is a powerful teacher. Thinking about the possibility of assisting such individuals, it is essential to reflect on the words of Marcus Aurelius. The best revenge is not to be like them. In some circumstances, it might be more productive to invest our energy in personal improvement, in the exercise of Stoic virtues, rather than in the attempt to transform those who are not ready for change. Finally, when we choose to distance ourselves, it is not with a heavy heart of grudge, but with the Stoic awareness that our inner serenity and our development must not be hindered. As Epictetus states, freedom is the only worthy end we possess, and sometimes true freedom means detaching from those who are firmly rooted in their mistakes. Those who oppose education and transformation are seen by the Stoics as the main impediments to ethical and cognitive progress. For them, knowledge is not a static goal, but a constant path of individual growth. The Stoic doctrine supports self-reflection, a sincere examination of ourselves, and a desire to learn from life experiences. Epicurus stated that we should be willing to review our beliefs, urging not to fear self-examination, since authentic learning comes from the ability to evolve and refine. Marcus Aurelius emphasized the importance of being open to new concepts and viewpoints, urging not to be rigid in one's beliefs. To manage resistance to change, the Stoic approach suggests leading by example and practicing empathy. However, it recognizes that we cannot control others' choices, so it may be necessary to accept that some will change in their own way and time. Instead of focusing on how to convince others, we should be an example of positive change. Those who are trapped in pessimism, such mentality is counterproductive in the Stoic world, as the Stoics promote a resilient view in the face of adversities, aspiring not only to acceptance, but also to the transformation of negative perceptions into constructive ones. Seneca advised to learn from experiences and to use difficulties as opportunities for growth, stating that things are difficult because they are. Moreover, Stoic philosophy values the serenity derived from gratitude and recognition of the positive in life, even in the most difficult circumstances. Marcus Aurelius, for example, believed it was important to contemplate life with gratitude and find joy in the present. To help those who are trapped in pessimism, Stoic wisdom advises to offer support, protecting oneself from negativity. Empathy is a virtue, but change must come from within. The Stoics suggest focusing on where you can have a positive impact, sometimes preserving our well-being rather than trying to change others' perspective. Those who avoid personal responsibility, the Stoics emphasize the power of our interpretation and response to external situations, expressed in the famous quote by Epictetus. What matters is not what happens to you, but how you react to what happens to you. Those who avoid taking responsibility for their own actions, constantly blaming external factors or other people, are avoiding personal growth. Acceptance of one's own action and its consequences is crucial. Stoic wisdom encourages a sincere self-assessment for those who avoid responsibilities, recognizing what is under one's control. However, every individual must be ready for this self-discovery without external impositions. Despite we offer support, the Stoics remind us not to be influenced by others' failures or their resistance to change. We only control our actions. Those who have expectations of privilege, the expectation of unearned privileges, contrasts with the work ethic and focus on personal development characteristic of Stoic philosophy. Stoics teach that a person's value comes not from innate privileges or the expectation of special treatment, but from the cultivation of personal virtues such as wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. In Stoicism, individuals with expectations of privilege are confronted through an exemplification of a moderate and virtuous life, demonstrating the value of work and fair contribution. They are encouraged to reflect on merit and justice, challenging them to consider what they truly deserve. Stoics avoid negative emotional reactions, remembering that each individual acts according to their own understanding, and that the consequences of unrealistic expectations can be a profound lesson. Those who neglect planning for the future, the perspective of those who prefer to live in a perpetual state of contentment with the present, contrasts with Stoic principles, which, while recognizing the importance of living in the here and now, also acknowledge the need to prepare for the future through mindful actions in the present. Stoicism teaches to embrace and appreciate the present without neglecting the natural progression of things, including the inevitable passage of time and the transience of circumstances. To manage people who do not attach importance to future programming, Stoic wisdom would advise to provide assistance while still respecting their personal decision. While we promote and support the growth of others, we must also recognize that the decision to program or not for the future is individual and must be respected, always hoping that over time each will find their own path. Thank you for watching this video. If it inspired you, leave your like and subscribe to the Pearls of Wisdom channel so that we can continue to search for wisdom together. See you in the next video.